out here. There are places they have like
private clubs.
Yeah, they're like party clubs, and then they also have like lounges. So it's part of the drinking, and you can't smoke a cigarette in there. You might be able to go smoke a cigarette on the balcony, but you can smoke weed in there.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Different Leaf, a show for new and experienced cannabis consumers. I'm Brit Smith. This episode, we're diving into the state of marijuana in the so-called Bible Belt. As you may know, here at Different Leaf, we're based in Massachusetts, but I'm spending much of this summer with friends in Atlanta, Georgia. And after just a few weeks here, I quickly realized how very different the world of weed is in the southern states. People don't seem to like to talk about cannabis down here, access to medical marijuana is minimal at best, and recreational cannabis shops are but a fever dream. Whereas in Massachusetts, adults can pop into our local cannabis shop and buy whatever infused products we like, folks in Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and the Carolinas don't have that luxury. Here in the Peach State, possession of anything over an ounce of weed is a felony, as is any level of cultivation. And medical patients here are only allowed up to 20 fluid ounces of cannabis oil, which must be below 5% THC and at least 5% CBD. Apart from straight CBD products which are federally legal, people in the South are still buying their weed on the underground market, which is alive and well and appears to be funneling its supply from the West Coast. So I wanted to know how folks here get their hands on cannabis products, what they're consuming, and how marijuana policy is developing for medical users in Georgia. First, I sat down with CeCe, a weed dealer who lives in College Park, Atlanta, to find out how illicit sellers get their hands on the stuff they sell, and what products consumers here are most interested in trying. Just a quick heads up, you may hear my sweet little puppy Juno in the background. So, can you tell me your experience with the cannabis culture here in Atlanta?
So it's not widespread like it is in California. It's a lot more underground.
Yeah.
They have some shops where you can go get gummies and things of those natures, but I don't think I haven't purchased any from them.
They're like CBD gummies?
Yeah, exactly. They're not the same. Like you can get them in California or probably Massachusetts right now.
Right.
But on, I guess, I wouldn't call it the black market, but hand-to-hand people, they have the gummies, the vapes, and I think they get them from, I don't really ask, but I think they get them from other states where they are illegal, California, up north, and
what
things
about
like
the flower? Is that coming from local still, or is that being imported as
That's being imported as well.
Really?
Yeah, nothing's really local because it's not legalized out here.
Yeah.
So it's
growing, it's too much hassle.
Yeah, and it probably is a lot cheaper to get it from somewhere that's already established.
Yeah, that makes sense. So do you know of the folks in your chain? Do you know any of them and where it comes from at all when it comes to you?
Mainly California.
California?
Mm-hmm.
That's a long way to drive it out.
Yeah, it is.
That surprises me that it wouldn't come from Florida where they've got medical.
Yeah, I just think that California is the GOAT. They're the ones that everyone's like, oh, California, so I think it's just easier to get it from there. Even though it's a long way, people have, besides driving it, I know some people may ship it too, even though that's a lot more, scary. Yeah. But they do it
I guess
that
you
way.
Just trust the USPS, right?
Yeah, and then I guess you have hookups, people that that work there that make sure that it gets on, and then you just hope that you can retrieve it when it gets here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nerve-wracking.
It
is. A lot of money.
It is, yeah, but I know quite a few people who do it. Some people do drive to Florida and things like that, but they say the quality isn't as good as the West Coast.
Really? So everybody's looking at that California. Yeah. And have you seen a lot of people switch in from I assume back in the day it was all about flour, and now do you see more people wanting cartridges and oils?
Because it's a lot more discreet. So, if you have a vape pen and you're going downtown and hanging out, you can hit your pen and it's not, very loud, or people don't smell it like that. Or the same with gummies. It's a more discreet high that you can get.
So do you have a lot of people that have switched over from flour?
Some. It just depends. I find the older the older crowd likes the gummies and the brownies and the cookies and the things like that.
What kind of demand have you seen? I know that weed is not by any means the only drug out here, and like have more people become more interested in it as it's become legal in other states?
Yes, definitely, because people don't want to do illegal things or get I think before it started becoming legal, there was like high punishment. So if you got caught with, it could be a gram of weed, you're going to jail for, whatever the case may be. So people didn't want to risk their livelihoods for it. Now you can carry weed up to, I think it's like an ounce, and just get like a ticket for it.
So when it hits an ounce, then it becomes a felony. Is that why most of the people that I've been talking to out here won't deliver or won't have more than an ounce on them at a time? Because I was talking to a friend of mine who's buying, and I said to him, could you just pick up, a little extra when you go to your guy? And he was like, no, because I'm already getting an ounce. And I was like, why can't you get two? And he said, I just get just under an ounce, because if I get caught with that, I can get off. I'm okay.
They write you a ticket and you just pay the fine. I don't know what it is, but you're not going to jail that night.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you have a doob or something. It could be a crumb. They could try to arrest you.
Really?
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. So you could really just get done for a little butt of a joint.
Well, it used to be like that. It's changed. Yeah, exactly.
This little joint.
Yeah.
Will get
I know people who have went to jail because of it.
Really?
Yeah.
For long?
No. It's not long, but it's still a hassle. You still have to pay to get out. You still have to go to court. You still have to, however you went to jail that night, your car gets towed or whatever the case may be. It's still a hassle.
What do you feel like having all of these other states legal and you're still living here? And you're from California where it is legal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think about it because I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to be more precautious about it. If I do carry some on me, I make sure to have it concealed, somewhere deeper than just in my purse. Might be in my glove box or something like that. And not saying if I get pulled over that can't be searched, but I just try not to keep too much.
Yeah. You try not to do too many drives when you're holding something in your car.
Yeah. Or I just make sure that I'm not speeding.
Right.
I'm stopping, at yellow lights, slow down, don't try to catch the light, certain things like that.
Have you ever gotten close to being caught?
Yes. I, one time this is funny. Well, it's not funny. It's funny now, but it wasn't at the time.
Right.
But my car, I was having some car issues and I was going to meet with my guy to pick something up. Then my car broke down right getting off the freeway. And so then he calls me. He's like, where are you at? I'm like, oh, I'm here. He's like, okay, I'll bring it to you. So he brought it to me. I was waiting for the tow truck driver to come. This was during one of the hurricanes, so I had AAA. So they're like, oh, it's going to take a while or whatever the case may be. So night started to fall. And I had my emergencies on, but my battery was starting to die, so it was getting dangerous. Yeah. So I called AAA. They're like, oh, well, you can call the police and have them sit with you. I'm like, I have this weed on me. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let me put it in my trunk. I put it in my trunk, but I had it on me for like 15 minutes. So I'm smelling like it. It was like a half an ounce or something like that. So I put it in my trunk under my tire. He comes and he's like, oh, what's going on? And he's like, I smell weed. He was like, I came to help, but now I have to search. And I'm like, oh my God. So I had my keys on me and my battery was dead, so they couldn't pop my trunk from the inside. But lucky. He was searching. When I tell you he was searching, he called backup. He sat me in the back of his car, and it was on my person at first.
Oh, my gosh.
So I had it in my jacket pocket, so it still smelled like it on me. So when he came to open the car door, he's like, you have it on you. Where is it? And I'm like, I don't know. He couldn't find it, though. I was in the back of his cop car like,
oh, my gosh.
I just hope. I knew he couldn't open the door. And I wasn't going to willingly give him the key if he asked for it. Because, I still have rights. Yeah. So he didn't ask for it. But then he called a tow truck driver for the police. And I had to pay like $200 to get my car towed. But I didn't care. Because I was like, at least I'm not going to jail.
Right. That was close?
Yes, it was really close.
Did it put you off wanting to keep selling?
No.
That's brave.
Yeah, no,
I think I would have been scared for a while.
I was. I just made sure, like, I knew my car was, I didn't know it was going to die at that time, but I knew that it was on its last leg. But no, every time after that, I just made sure to meet the guy at my house. So.
Yeah. Wow, you live and you learn, I guess.
Yeah. But now that was before the time that it was legal to have under an ounce. So just like a month later, like it was like 3 weeks later, they had passed that, and I was like, "Ooh, perfect. Okay, next time I'm not gonna be scared. I'm gonna be like, okay, if you find it, whatever, just write me a ticket and I'll go." But he was trying to take me to jail, and I know it.
So as the laws start changing, you feel a little more comfortable with it, but
yes, definitely.
Why did you choose to start doing it before you were feeling comfortable with it?
I just coming from California, it was already legal out there. I got pulled over before with weed in the car, and I just got a ticket, and they just go about your way. Yeah. We have better things to do.
Right.
So, and then coming to Georgia, it's like, okay, well, I'm used to California. I know it's different, but okay, I'm not out here, like, breaking laws.
Right.
Majorly, driving fast, reckless, so,
So how did you get involved with the community here where you live in College Park?
Yes.
I assume that's where you do most of your sales as well?
Well, I don't sell anymore, just because it's so many people out there. I just buy for me.
Right.
But when I was getting shipments from California when I first moved here, and I did lose a pack that had me stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
so
much was it?
It's like 5,000.
Oh my goodness! How did you lose it?
It just didn't come.
Yeah.
It just didn't come, and I would always get things shipped to a different address and a different name. Not directly to my front door. So it just didn't show up. And
that was it? You were like, forget it, it's too much money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that was one of the smaller ones that I did, because I've been here 10 years. So, like, 2012 I moved here in 2011. So 2011, 2012 was when I was really doing it heavy.
Yeah.
And then it was like I said, it was one of the smaller packs that I lost. And I was happy that it was a smaller pack, but it was still like, that sucks. And then you can't guarantee, like you said, you're kind of risking it. So, and I had risked it for like almost 2 years. Yeah. So I have been doing gummies. So I have friends in California that send me the gummies. So I guess I'm still selling something, but not flour necessarily.
Is that because of the smell? Did that really put you off?
What, to sell the gummies instead?
Instead of the weed, because it smells like less strong?
Well, when I was getting the shipment for the weed, you couldn't smell it because it was dry packed.
Damn.
So...
How do they make it not smell?
Yeah.
Come here, Gina.
Yeah.
How do they...
It was just...
They just, like, really wrap it tight?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then put it in something, disguise it, and...
You think the USPS might be, like, the biggest drug dealer in the United States?
They don't even know it.
That's crazy.
I
can't believe that they'd send flour in the mail.
Yeah.
So there's, like, a big change happening in the culture up north where we can now go drive to dispensaries. I can go and pick some up. I sit in my backyard. I smoke with my neighbor. I'm like, do you want a joint? No, I don't smoke. But come on over, have a cigarette with me. It's like a normal thing to sit and chat and smoke or just talk about weed. But something I noticed down here, people are even nervous to talk about weed. Yeah. They're so worried about it out here that they want to really hide it, that it's even in the house.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, maybe that's white people.
The difference is, there are some clubs and lounges that allow you to smoke weed freely in them.
In Atlanta?
Yes. Whereas when I was in California, you couldn't smoke in clubs. You couldn't smoke weed in clubs. Yeah. But you could have it, on you, smoke in your car or whatever the case may be, but you can't smoke in a club. Out here, there are places, they have like
private clubs?
Yeah, they're like party clubs, and then they also have like lounges. So it's part of the drinking, and you can't smoke a cigarette in there. You might be able to go smoke a cigarette on the balcony, but you can smoke weed in there.
Wow, weird.
Yeah, it is.
Nobody says a word? No cops care?
No, they can be standing right next to you.
Wow. So there are certain spaces where